Right, I had to make this video because I was listening to Dana in the post 302 press conference and he was saying some absolute waffle that needs to be addressed. And I think Uncle Fester is trying to pull one over on us. I've got to cut in. Okay, I've just seen a load of MMA YouTubers make the exact same fucking video. I work, it takes me a couple of days to make a video, so I guess I'm just late to the party. Now I'll hand you back over to me from yesterday that thought he had an original video idea. Silly twat. Here's the clip.
Joe Rogan on the broadcast called Islam the perfect lightweight, and they're just the size, his style of fighting, just his fight IQ. I'm curious, like, where do you rank him in this pantheon of lightweights that we've seen over the years?
Yeah, I think he's, you know, one of the greatest of all time. I think he's incredible. I don't think he's the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. For anybody to call Islam the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world when Jon Jones is still fucking fighting is nuts and shouldn't be ranking in the pound-for-pound or doing any of the fucking rankings ever, if that's what you really think. Jon Jones has never lost a fight, ever. He's fought all the baddest dudes in the world. And then when you think about what pound-for-pound rankings really mean, he moved it up to heavyweight and destroyed the best guy in the world.
Right, there's a lot to unpack here. Now, I know it's Pride Month, so I'm going to try and go easy on the Jones slander, and I get what you're saying, Dana. But firstly, well, he ain't fucking fighting, is he? Not counting his wife, of course. Tom Aspinall's booked in to defend his interim bout. When you have the interim champion defending his bout, you've got yourself a problem, haven't you? People have dropped in the pound-for-pound rankings before for far less.
Jon Jones has never lost a fight.
I think you'll find he lost to Dominic Reyes, and he lost to Matt Hamill, and he technically should have lost to Anthony Smith due to an illegal technique, and he's lost multiple times to USADA.
And then when you think about what pound-for-pound rankings really mean, he moved it up to heavyweight and destroyed the best guy in the world.
Okay, well that bit is a two-parter, because firstly, when you think what pound-for-pound really means, Dana, do you know what pound-for-pound really means? Look, I know he runs a show and he's been around for decades, yeah? And I'm just some twat that makes YouTube videos. But doesn't pound-for-pound mean taking the weight class out of the equation? Otherwise, the pound-for-pound list is basically just going to be the heavyweight divisions. That's not how it works. And then he says he's moved up to heavyweight and destroys the best guy in the world. Come on, Double D. What fresh pile of shit are you trying to feed us? Garn, who lost to Francis Ngannou and then beat a fat brawler to somehow earn yet another title shot? You mean John beat Garn, who has zero wrestling and is the perfect stylistic matchup for him? Garn, who got out-wrestled by Francis? There is no one that thinks Garn is the best guy in the world. Then he went on to say this.
As long as Jon Jones is still fighting, active, and in the rankings, yeah, nobody's pound-for-pound best fighter in the world.
Yeah, that sounds great and all that, but John isn't fucking active, is he? He hasn't been active since Rogan had a booth on. Then he went on to talk about other stuff, but the reporter wasn't satisfied and brought the topic up again to Dana.
Yep.
Just to go back to Islam, he's now on a 14-fight winning streak, which is the third longest in history behind Anderson Silva and Usman. What would it take for him to surpass Jon Jones in your mind for that pound-for-pound number one?
I mean, when you think about what pound-for-pound really means.
Again, not what pound-for-pound means.
Right? He fought Volkanovski, who's a weight class lower than him. Jon Jones beat everybody at light heavyweight, then beat the best heavyweight in the division.
Incorrect.
Like it was nothing at a higher weight class.
So, I mean,
Jon Jones is absolutely positively the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Probably the greatest fighter of all time in any sport.
Yeah, no one is disputing that Jon Jones is on the GOAT list, if not the GOAT. Obviously assuming you are allowing proven drug cheats on your GOAT list.
When you talk about who's the baddest dude in the world, you put two guys in a room and who walks out, Jon Jones walks out of the fucking room every time.
I beg to differ, Dana. If you get one of those sexy little LA guys in there that Jones likes with the sky blue eyes, I have a feeling that John's going to stay in that room. John's staying in that room for a good 20-25 minutes.
No question about it.
yeah. And in no way trying to diminish Jon's accomplishments, but like, you know, he's fought once in the last however many years. Islam's fighting multiple times a year, defending. So like, at what point does activity outweigh?
Well,
you know, Jon's?
Beautiful. I like that you asked that question. Let's talk about activity. 3 years off. Nobody, not even Ali. Nobody's ever come from 3 years off and looked the same. Jon Jones walked through the heavyweight, the number one guy in the heavyweight division, like it was nothing, with 3 years off.
Okay, so now he's actually got the cheek to try and convince us that John's inactivity is actually a plus and makes him even better. He was off for years because he was waiting for Francis to go. And can you believe it? A man that's been cycling steroids for 2 or 3 years beats a man who spent the same time being rigorously tested. It's a miracle.
Yeah, Jon Jones is the best ever. Ever. And when I say ever, I mean in any combat sport. He's the best ever. You throw John Jones in a room with anybody, John Jones walks out of the room.
Dana, again, not understanding the meaning of pound for pound. Now, if we put our big boy pants on for a minute, we know exactly what Dana is doing. John has his stupid legacy fight coming up, and if it's not enough of a joke already, Dana needs to big up Jones to try and make it somehow make sense. Not to mention, obviously, that Francis left as the champ, so God forbid everyone remembers that the baddest man on the planet might not be in the UFC. Like I said, if you include drug cheats, John Jones is probably the greatest of all time. But the current UFC pound-for-pound rankings are there to reflect the current performance of the best fighters fighting right now. Anyway, if you like this video, give us a sub, check out this playlist of recent bangers. I'll see you next time.